Macon-Bibb is a very, very fortunate community to have individuals, organizations, and institutions that really, really play a role in making this a better community. And I'm more than a little happy today to bring to the group, to the listeners and viewers, information on an initiative that's going to really benefit the community and that's very much needed. And unfortunately, something, although it helps us men, but we need to be pushed and motivated to do something that will help us to help ourselves and inform us on something that we need to do from a health perspective. You know, health is connected to life and living, and if we want to live, and if we want to live a good life, then we need to be concerned about our health. So my guest today is Mr. Steve Bell, who works for Sheridan Construction. That's his daytime job, and I'll let him introduce himself. But I'm just in awe at an initiative that he is doing as a member. He and the Rotary Club are doing. That's going to really, and that has benefited the community and will continue to do so if, in fact, we take heed. So I'm passing it over to Steve. Steve, tell us a little about yourself, about the Rotary Club. Thanks for all you do. Tell your story as it relates to why you were involved in this initiative, and we'll take it from there. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Bell.
Thank you, Alex. I'm happy here to be with you today, and thank you for having me. And it is a great story for our community of how we can help people. So I grew up in Macon. I grew up in Bloomfield. I went to Southwest High School. Never left Macon. So I'm a big cheerleader of Macon. You and I have passed each other many times and many things in this community, and I appreciate what you and Myrtle do. But when I was young and just started having children and started going to the doctor, everyone has a regular blood test, and my blood test also included what's called a PSA. It's called a prostate specific antigen. It's an easy test, easy enough, and they use that sometimes to see if there's something suspect in a man's health. And so, I always joke that in my PowerPoint presentation that, men are stubborn and so many people will die. And we're like, no, we won't. And that's where we need to push each other. That's where we need our significant others to push ourselves. We need our friends to say, hey, your health matters. So after I had my blood test, I was 42. My blood test was suspect. And I had to follow up with my urologist. And they did a biopsy, and it turned out I had prostate cancer.
Wow.
Now, when I was 42, my thought is, I thought that was an old man's disease. It's not an old man disease. And I was sitting in a support group with other men, and as I listened to their story, I realized they're uneducated about this disease. They don't know what treatments were available for them. They didn't know how to navigate that. And so several years ago, 13 years ago, I decided to start a health fair. Now, I did this with my Rotary Club. It's the Rotary Club of Downtown Macon. We meet on Wednesdays. It's a very wonderful group of men and women who do wonderful things in the community, supporting many things, and health is one of them. So we started this event, and but we used beer kind of as the I want to say the bait for men. People laugh at me when I say I have a health fair disguised as a beer festival, but I do. So it's a way for us to attract men to this event, and this event has grown from the very first one we put on with 16 beers and 200 people to over 100 varieties of beer and wine. 3,000 ticket holders, an open air festival with music and arts and crafts and food.
Wow.
So everybody comes down. And so that's where we catch them. That's where we can educate the community. That's where we can educate those men. And Georgia is fourth in the nation for the number of cases of prostate cancer.
Wow.
So, it's prevalent that we share that with this community, and it holds the title of being the third highest killer among all cancers. But it doesn't have to be, as long as you get it treated, right? And so when it comes to men, and it comes to any of us, our age matters, our cancer matters, and all that is taken into, how advanced the cancer is, of what our treatments are. And there are different treatments. I had my prostate removed. My doctors were like, remove it by a robot. Don't worry about it anymore. My dad, my brother, my father-in-law all had radioactive seeds. A different treatment, lots of friends. Everybody's a different place. If you were 80 years old and you were diagnosed with a slow prostate cancer, they may say, let's just watch it. Because typically, if you treat it and take care of it and don't bury your head in the sand, you have a very high possibility of surviving this disease. So that's what we're doing. And what we do at our event is we offer a free blood test to any guy. Nobody has to have a ticket for this event, for this. So we give away a $700 blood test that's free to anybody in our community. You
Wow.
can just walk up. I don't care who you are. My goal is to test as many men as I can. So this free $700 blood test, it covers the PSA, I think testosterone, cholesterol, triglycerides, glucose, all those things we need to be watching. But do we have any barriers? Do we lack health insurance that would pay for this? Are we just too stubborn to go to the doctor? I've had a gentleman show up at the event, first thing in 27 years he's done, right? So consider this too, that if you had a brother or a father that had prostate cancer, you're 5 times more likely to have it in your life. If you're African American, you're 5 times more likely to have it. If you went to Vietnam and was exposed to Agent Orange, you're 5 times more likely to have it. So last year we tested 150 guys. That was $90,000 in free blood tests that we gave at the event. So when people laugh and snicker that, it's a beer festival, I'm like, it's a health fair, and we're doing serious work here. And so for us to kind of incentivize those guys at the event, we have a little business card called a Fast Pass. So every guy that gets tested, we give them 3 of these business cards, and they can go to the front of any line to sample any beer or wine they want to. Well, then, of course, the other guys are going, why'd you cut in line? And he goes, I got a Fast Pass. How'd you do that? I went over there and I got tested. You go over there and get tested. So it just works wonderfully well. Like I said, I know it sounds silly, but it allows us to bring anything medical to the community at this event. Last year we brought Andrea Cook to talk about, your mental health. I think anybody who's ever been given a diagnosis of cancer has PTSD in some way, because they're always thinking in the back of their head, is this going to come back? Am I healthy? Am I doing the right thing? So mental health is very important. And men are also very stubborn about their mental health. You can't be, you got to be open to change. And when you have a prostate cancer diagnosis, and I talk to a lot of guys, who are going through it, and I tell them, this may not be your normal, that after your surgery or whatever your treatment is, but you've got a new normal and you're alive. And that's what matters.
Wow. What a story. So as a follow-up, what do? Do you just continue to get it checked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we start testing guys at 40. The American Cancer Society may say 50. I think 40. But if you have a family history, then we'll test earlier, 35, 33. But annually, you should be having a PSA just at your regular checkup anyway. And you're going to want to watch that number and see if that number rises. That's how they caught my cancer. I had no symptoms. I had nothing. I was just going along life, but my number had doubled from the previous year. And that was what was suspect. And they said, we've got to get you to do a biopsy. And half my samples showed cancer. So, and that was 14 years ago this year that
Wow.
happened to me. So I like to say that too, to tell men, I'm a survivor and you're going to survive.
Right.
But don't ignore it. You cannot ignore this disease.
Well, it really encourages us, and I'm so glad that we are doing this because we both are concerned about a healthy community, and it takes healthy individuals to have a healthy community, and 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 it's something that says an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure or something like that.
Yes.
Well, taking this test, yeah, well, it is a prevention measure because it'll keep you from dying.
Yes.
I'm gonna just be brutally frank and say, so let's talk a little bit more about the festival, and then I want to interject, and I know you probably will, but look, although this men have prostate cancer, women have men who are their brothers and their daddies and their uncles and their friends. So
Yes.
all this is intended to address prostate cancer. Then I want to emphasize that women and females and wives and mothers and sisters and daughters and nieces can play a role in encouraging those males in their lives to come to this beer fest. And let's go to hey, I don't care if you trick them. So come on, let's go.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's
It
go
works. The wife, I've had so many wives come up to me at this event and tell me thank you because they don't have to worry about their husband. She just got him tested. This cancer is surpassing the number of breast cancers.
Wow.
And so it's the same type of kind of cancer. It's a glandular, hormonal, receptive cancer. We're kind of receptive to testosterone in this cancer. Women are receptive to estrogen in this cancer. So, there has been a great push about breast cancer in America, in our community. My mom died of breast cancer, but prostate cancer, not as much, but it's just as prevalent. So yes, and having those significant others, those wives or their friends, it just takes somebody to go, I'll do it if you go do it. Or the wife saying, you better do it or you're not coming home with me. Something to just get them there. And we'll do the rest once we get them.
Yeah. And I don't know why, and it's for our betterment, but I think you're absolutely correct in mentioning the stubbornness, and unfortunately, stubbornness can lead to death.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that you will agree with me when I say, don't be stubborn, don't be stupid, be smart.
When you start exhibiting symptoms of this disease, you're further down the line than you want to be. You want to be ahead of that. All right. And like I said, we want to be in a preventive mode, not a reactive mode. We'll be in a reactive mode because we have to be. But you could make your outcome much better if you just have a simple blood test once a year.
Wow. Yeah. And then, and I think it's important, that you all are doing this. I think it's phenomenal, really, because you're really correct. A whole lot of people are underinsured or uninsured.
Yes.
So this is an approach, but there are resources available, whatever your problem is or your problems are. There are resources available to try to assist us with health and income and mental health and education and what. But but this thing for us men is very, very important. So give us the mechanics of the festival. How is it going to work, and how has it worked? And just tell us where is it and what time? You know,
I'll tell you all the goody. So the festival is in downtown Macon, corner of Third and Poplar, has been all these years. It's an open air festival, meaning that the entire community can come to this festival because we have 2 music stages, we have 4 bands, we'll have probably over 20 arts and craft vendors. And then to make it fun, the night before the event, we have a rock and roll pub crawl. We're known for our music heritage. So we'll start the evening before, almost like Christmas Eve, Beer Fest Eve, with this pub crawl, and we'll hit places like Grants and the Capitol, and talk a little bit about the history of music and have a beer along the way. The next day, starting at 12, we have a cornhole tournament. Then we have a costume contest. We have a lot of people in German attire because it's Oktoberfest, or men in kilts. They wear all kind of things. We have a beer stein holding contest. For children, we have what's called the Superhero Dash for Dad, meaning that if there is somebody significant, that male figure in their life, and they want to go run for that person, they dress up in their superhero costumes. It's near Halloween. They dress up and they just do a little run, and we give them a prize. And you know what? In their head, they're helping their friend, but we're also planting seeds in those young people that you need to think about prostate cancer, or you need to tell your granddaddy or your daddy, if you love me, go get tested. And then we'll have like a husband or a wife, boyfriend calling contest. It's something we saw. So we do a beer run also. And now that is where, this is where the crowds come out because they want to watch this. And this is where either an individual or a team of 4 have to run a mile and drink a beer. So an individual drinks 4 beers, but a team member drinks 1 beer, runs a quarter mile. And there's some hilarity that ensues because that beer sometimes doesn't want to sit on your stomach while you're running. But it's great. And it starts at 2:00 with our VIP guests, and they get a little extra special. They get food and some music, and they get swag, and they get specialty beers that the general public doesn't. And they get an hour entry into the festival. Then our general public starts at 3, and the festival runs till 7. And we have over 200 volunteers for that day. I think that's one of the biggest volunteer groups I can think of in this community. And
right.
And the thing I'm most proud of, and this is a testament to our community and always has been, is the heart of the community to come out and volunteer, because I'll have nonprofits volunteer for this nonprofit. And I love that. And I want you, if you're the Alzheimer's Association, if you're 100 Black men, I want you wearing shirts that say what you are, and you can talk about your organization, because all you have to do is pour beer in a little 4-ounce cup for the people. You'll have the best time volunteering. I hear it all the time. People said, I had more fun volunteering than I did going to the event. So, that's open now. We're trying to collect our army of volunteers. And, again, you think you're not doing much, but you are by helping us. And it's just a little bit of time for a very fun event, but that is something very serious.
Now, is it just generally free to the public, or is there ticketing charge?
Well, it is in terms that it's a open air festival. So we have families, their children, we have people bringing their dogs. But to buy a ticket, tickets are now $45, and it's unlimited pours of what we carry. So we carry over 100 varieties of beer, cider, wine, more than you need to taste. You couldn't taste all of it, but you won't find a better deal for something like that in this community, in this state. Even we're probably about $20 cheaper than any other beer fest in the state of Georgia.
Well, I mean, even if you don't drink a beer, you pay $45 for a $700 test that might save your life.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You don't even have to have a ticket. I think I told you, I said, I don't care if somebody brings a busload of people from their church, any organization, do it, please. I want to run out of supplies. Last year we tested 150 men. And that equaled $90,000. You know, next year, we're only talking about trying to break the record of 200. And that's our goal.
Yeah, that's outstanding. So it's gonna be, what's the date on it now?
It's October the 14th. Again, for general admission, it starts at 3, runs till 7. You can buy tickets day of the event, but the price goes up. You know, we're always saying, make it a last minute town. Don't wait last minute, save some money. You know, go ahead and get your tickets now. But we want you to come out. Our Rotary clubs in the area or in our region, they come and support. But this is also a Rotary event that we do service leadership in our community. And these are business owners, business leaders, movers and shakers in our Wednesday Rotary Club. We are our feet hit the ground. We're going to make it happen. We're going to do this event. And, but there'll be more medical things there. We'll have somebody talking about genetic testing. Do you have, you know, high cancer in your family? I did. My sister mapped the family tree and mapped everybody, and we were able to get genetic testing. So I saw probably what was the cause of my cancer. So now I'm able to share that with my children, which is good. One of my children has had the same test, had the same markers as me. So my daughter needs to be on the lookout for breast cancer. You know, the markers for what we have is breast cancer, colon cancer, pancreatic cancer,
Wow.
You know, prostate cancer. So, and my son, same way. Since my dad had it, my brother had it, his grandfather had it, and I had it. He probably needs to be tested maybe at 35. You know, just so he says that PSA. I would like to have that earlier than normal, just so I can watch it.
How you mentioned that a person can get a ticket early? You know, what's that process?
You can go to our website. It's themaconbeerfest.com or maconbeerfest.com. I'm sorry. And you'll see our schedule of events for the day, but you'll also our ticketing tab. So you can click on that, pick the tickets you'd like to participate in. Like I said, a lot of our contests are all free. There's except for the beer run, I think, or the cornhole tournament. But like your children coming out, just sign them up. It's free.
Now let me be clear. So in order to get tested, you have to buy a ticket.
No.
Oh yeah. See, I want to make sure. I didn't want to say that. So when you said a busload from ABC Baptist Church, you mean all those men from ABC, you know, can get tested, but if they want to taste all these wonderful liquids,
yes,
then they have to buy
free.
Yeah.
So yes, the test is free. The test is free.
Wow.
And what's great about the test too, and the beer or whatever they're drinking, the beer doesn't affect the test, the results of that test really. Now on your cholesterol and things like that, if a guy wants to fast first, he'll get better results, right? Before he goes to the event, before he starts drinking beer and the sugars from the beer start elevating their, you know, if they got diabetes and things they're keeping watch on. But no, you bring those guys, it's free. It's free. We've done this every year. It's free. We only charge for the beer because we have to buy $20,000 worth of beer. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna beseech the entire community, you know, to be aware of this event. I want to encourage the stubborn men to go ahead and participate. It may save your life. And I want to advise, all you have to do with the female is advise them because it doesn't take much nudging. But I want to gently nudge all of the females who got men in their lives, and that's everybody, to familiarize the men in their lives with this activity and to encourage them to come and get tested because Steve did not mention it, but there are proven results. There were some people who got tested who are probably living now, or who probably gonna live because of having gone down to a health fair disguised as a beer festival.
Yes.
get tested. So it's just so important that we not only participate in this event, but we make it effective. And what determines its effectiveness is how many people get tested, how
Yes.
many lives we can save, how many people we can influence to get treated now early, which will result in prolonging their lives. And I'll let you chime in after I say this. The proof is in the pudding. We are talking to on this show Mr. Steve Bell, who is a survivor of prostate cancer that he discovered that he had at 42 years old. And you can't get no better proof than that. You can't get no better motivational factor than we've got a live person who thought it would not be robbery to advise your community of what happened to him and use that experience as a motivation to help somebody and to educate the entire community, anybody who wants to be educated, anybody who wants to be tested. So I want to publicly thank you.
Oh, you're sweet.
Yeah, I really do. I want to publicly thank you for using something that happened to you and try to transform that into informing other individuals that they ought to be aware that it could happen to them too, and then providing a mechanism for them to make sure that they know what to do if they get it or to find
Yeah.
out if they have it.
Yeah, there's just a lot to learn, you know, and when you're told you have cancer, and I describe this to people, I think your brain splits right into this side of the brain's listening to your doctor tell you have cancer. This side of the brain's having an internal dialogue with yourself, going, what did he just say? Oh my gosh. You know, and so there, like I said, there's so many things men need to know when they get a diagnosis. They need to talk to their healthcare provider and find out what's the best treatment for them. I've had friends of mine who've been attendees of the Beer Fest, gotten tested, had prostate cancer, and now serves on my board.
Wow.
You know, and also, and I would say this to anybody, I am not afraid to tell my story in any detail to any man. So if any man or woman wants me to talk to you privately, I'll do it. I'll tell you what I know. I'll try to assure you too, you know, if I feel like they're afraid, to say, you're going to be okay. You know, I think you're going to be fine. He's going to get treatment. You're going to be good. But I will talk to anybody about this, Alex. And if I need to talk to Myrtle to make sure you're down there to get tested, I'll do that as well.
Now you've already convinced me. I'll be there with bells on, and no doubt.
Well, I think the badge of honor is a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
To show your Band-Aid on your arm set, and you know that goes a long way.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell us the date again. And,
October the 14th, and you can get tickets at the Macon Beerfest.com. Go ahead and grab those tickets early. There are many years we just sell out, and so we'd like for you to be part of this. We have about 3,000 or more ticket holders. That's not including just the people that just come in the community to enjoy the day. But come down. It's a beautiful day. It really gives a boost and a bump to our downtown, which we like as the Downtown Rotary Club. We like supporting those organizations and those businesses. And we like showing people who come to our downtown that they've never been to some of the places downtown. And, you know, and that's what we want to promote. We want to promote that we have a beautiful downtown and, like you said, a healthy community. And this is part of it.
Right. Right. Well, I'm so glad that you're doing this. And I think I'm hearing you saying that you'll talk to 1 or 100. You know, in fact, they want to have a conversation with you about that. So how should a person contact you?
Well, I tell you, I'll give them, here's my personal email address. It's smartcreativemedia@gmail.com. Email me. you contact me. If you've got questions, you've got concerns, or if I can help point you in the right direction somewhere in this community, I will. Like I said, I've always cheerleaded my community, but I'm cheerleading your health, and I want you to be here as long as possible as well.
Wow. Smart Creative Media at
At
Gmail.
gmail.com. Or you can reach out to me on the Beer Fest website, and that email is makingbeerfest@gmail.com.
Wow, that's easy and simple. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Mr. Steve Bell, who's a survivor, thank God, of prostate cancer, and who is also a promoter for an event. Not necessarily just for the event, but he's a person who pushes, us stubborn men to try to take care of ourselves by being tested. And he has provided a vehicle. It's a health fair disguised as a beer festival for us to, have some fun, but then take a serious turn and get a Band-Aid on our arm by getting tested for not only prostate cancer, but other maladies from which we may suffer. So I want to thank you again, Steve. Smart Creative Media at gmail.com is his email. And I also want to encourage other nonprofits and organizations, to reach out to Steve to see if you can volunteer, participate. I know what you can do. You can help promote it. We want every male over 30 in this community to at least be familiar with this initiative, this festival, and learn more about prostate cancer, and at least not be stubborn and get a Band-Aid on your arm by being tested.
www.makingblackpages.com